Okay, I'm back. Alright, so we're finally here. Oh, wow. The trial. The final trial of this episode. And the final trial of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies on the 3DS. We ending this. We ending this right here, right now. Let's not waste no time. Everything has been set in motion. Like everything, the whole stage has been set. The whole stage has been set. Without further ado, let's end this game once and for all. Let's load the data, and here we go. Alright, so we're back at the good old lobby. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna skip that little part there. I did a little research. I looked into to those special cyclops you mentioned, Mr. Nick. You did? That's great. I really appreciate it. A red cyclops protects a secret a person is consciously trying to hide. If the person falls under questioning, the lock breaks and the truth comes out. Yep, that's exactly how I got the truth out of Fulbright and Cosmos. But a black cyclops protects a secret from the deepest place in a person's heart. Yeah, when we first saw those black cyclops from what was his name? Not Clavier, but Christoph. When we were questioning him, we saw these black cyclops. This was the first time Phoenix ever experienced, ever seen those type of locks, and we never got an explanation as to what those black cyclops mean. But we are now getting that explanation. Pearl says that these black cyclops protect a secret from the deepest place in a person's heart. Let's see, a secret that that person isn't even consciously aware of. So even they don't know it's there. Nah, so there's a secret. Well, back in the fourth game, there a secret that Gavin like has buried very, very deep in his heart that he doesn't remember it at all. I think that should be the premise for a seventh game, you know, where Phoenix were some of the like the mainline story like should focus on the black cyclops, you know, like help them to remember those secrets that are so buried deep in their heart that they don't remember they even had it. So they don't even know it's there. Athena is trying to keep anything from. I mean, isn't trying to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, a part of her heart and her memories are sealed off, even from her. So yeah, there should be more on this subject for a seventh game. Now that would be awesome. Okay, so all I have to do is break the Cyclops. According to my research, a black Cyclops is like a heavy chain wrapped directly around one's heart. If they are ripped off by force, it could cause permanent damage to a person's soul. Ouch. In other words, if I'm not careful, I could traumatize Athena for good. Wow. Now that's something you have to be very, very careful. Pearls, could you stay by Athena's side? She must be suffering under the weight of such a heavy burden. Alright, but will you be alright by yourself, Mr. Nick? I'm up against Edgeworth. I have to be able to give this trial all of my focus and strength. And you can't do that if I'm there. I'll just hold you back. Well, honestly, I was kind of hoping Pearl would be at Phoenix's side, so that way we were able to get help from Mia, because it has been a long time since we've seen Mia. But unfortunately, we don't get any of that. I think. Oh well. No, that's not it. I just meant I can relax and concentrate if I knew you were with Athena. You're the only one who can do it, Pearls. All right, I'll do it then. Good luck, Mr. Nick. Good. Now that my mind is at ease, I better get ready. I'll just tidy up the evidence and take out what I don't need. It's time to end this nightmare that started 7 years ago. It's time to end this dark age of the law. So yeah, in the investigation part, we finally realized the reason why this dark age of the law started. It all began with Phoenix's downfall, and because he presented forged evidence. Because of what people saw, they thought that that it would be okay if any lawyer would do the exact same thing, you know, like showing forged evidence and all. And then the second reason, because of the dark age of law, was of how Prosecutor Blackquill got the guilty verdict so quickly. So since then, people have lost total faith in the legal system, and that's the reason why Phoenix reobtained his attorney's badge, and basically he's now taking the challenge to end this so-called dark age of the law. So will this trial actually bring an end to this dark age of law, or will it continue? Well, we're about to find out. Here we go. Defense, prosecution, and judge. There are even people in the gallery. The roof has been completely blown off, and the walls have collapsed. But today, this ruin is my battleground. Day 1, court is now in session. All rise. Well, so much for that gavel. Oh well, I guess I can't complain. I mean, because look at where we're at. The blown ruins of courtroom 4. Court, or some of the smile thereof, I think that's how it's pronounced, I have no idea, is now in session for the trial of Athena Cykes. Not fast a mile, old man. This is a proper official trial. Take this more seriously, or you'll start hearing the bones of the hostages snap. Please try not to upset Miss Blackquill. I'm begging you. There's the gavel. Court is now in session for the very serious and very proper trial of Athena Cykes. This is no trial. It's nothing more than a ridiculous farce. What did you say? Edgeworth, did you not hear what I just said to his honor? However, this ridiculous farce has a very important meaning for our legal system. Recall the case of UR1, of the UR1 incident in which a prosecutor was found guilty of murder. The case ushered in this odious dark age of the law. I see what you're after. If we can find the real truth, I'm not sure if I should be using the Kulanko or Panko's voice, or the voice I used for Aura, which is the Franziska von Karma voice. I guess I'll use the Franziska von Karma voice. I see what you're after. If we can find the real truth behind that case today, precisely, the darkness will be dispelled, and glory shall be restored to the court system. Prosecutor Edgeworth, you sound as if you know something of this truth? I do indeed. A new suspect has emerged in the UR1 case. For 7 years, Simon Blackquill has refused to speak in order to cover for someone else. Brace yourself, Phoenix. Here it comes. I'm sorry, Wright, but the situation is what it is, and I must do what I must. The prosecution moves to indict Athena Cykes on the count of murder in the first degree.
Regardless the circumstance, I intend to question the defendant with all I have. For that is a part of my creed.
Then you'd better bring it.
If the two of you are ready. Court is now in session for the trial of Athena Cykes.
Your Honor, the defense was born ready.
The prosecution is also ready.
Oh, this rivalry, I haven't seen this in such a long time, and it gets me so excited to see this trial go on. Oh my goodness, this has been such a long time. This is I haven't seen Phoenix and Miles go head to head in court basically since, wow, the second game. Oh my goodness, it's been that long. I mean, Edgeworth did come back like in the final trial, but that's basically it. And then he came back in the third game, but for the defense. But man, this is so exciting. I can't wait to see how this trial plays out. Oof. All right, so this immense tension between us, it's like we're picking up right where we left off. Oh, I forgot about the other trial, Rise from the Ashes. I forgot about that trial too. But however, it wasn't as like a trial to be looking forward to, because that case had a lot to do with corruption within everything, the police, the prosecution. It's my duty to clear Prosecutor Blackquill of false accusations and end this insanity. But I have no intention of losing Miss Cykes either. She's a very promising young lawyer. I know, without a doubt, that Athena is innocent. But I don't think Prosecutor Blackquill did it either. So, do you have any clue who was responsible for the sabotage? At the very least, I know it wasn't Simon Blackquill. I don't know enough to identify the true culprit, but it's clear what that person is. To put it simply, a spy. The true culprit is a spy. It's going to be hard to convince anyone of that when I barely believe it myself. But I don't have a choice. If I want to save Athena and Blackquill and expose the spy. Now then, Chief Prosecutor Edgeworth. No need for the Chief Prosecutor bit, Your Honor. I am here as a simple prosecutor. Very well. Your opening statement, please, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Although I've been known of late to give an impressive opening statement myself. Oh, trust me. The past few cases, we've been hearing nothing but the judge giving out the opening statement. In all the trials I've seen, only the prosecution gives an opening statement. Oh, of course, you're right. I was just joking. Just having a little fun. Oh, come on, Judge. You enjoyed it and you know it. So he wasn't doing them just out of fear. Interesting. Well, yeah. He wasn't like he enjoyed giving out the opening statement. Come on, who wouldn't? Phoenix, I know you're basically the only player, well, right now that hasn't even done an opening statement at all. I mean, I know you're just a defense attorney, but hey, there's a first time for everything. I mean, if the judge can provide if the prosecutor and the judge were able to do a opening statement, why can't the defense? And yeah, I know that's not the way that's not how it works, but hey, there's a first for everything. I mean, come on, why not? All right, where was I? Let's start with a brief overview of the UR1. Is that a pun or something? UR1? Seriously? Incident. Sorry. The incident occurred at the Cosmos Space Center 7 years ago on October 7th. The victim, psychologist Athena Cykes, was killed in the robotics lab on the 4th floor. Athena's mother, Simon Blackquill, a young prosecutor at the time, was found guilty of the crime. There were two deciding factors that led to his guilty verdict. One, Blackquill was the only person in the corridor to the lab at the time of the murder. And 2, this photo which captured the moment of the crime. Very incriminating evidence indeed. It would appear that the only conclusion is that Prosecutor Blackquill did indeed... Are you kidding me? I'm not accepting any conclusion of the kind. This opening statement is over. Now hurry up and call the witness. Excuse me, Miss Blackquill, but we must follow proper procedure for these things, you know. Or perhaps we should heed her wishes, Your Honor. She's the trial's sponsor, after all. Besides, the courtroom is chilly, and sitting for far too long can't be good for your back. Oh, you are very kind to show a concern for the welfare of the elderly. As skilled as ever at playing the court puppeteer, I see. The prosecution calls its first witness. A witness who decided to bring forth new testimony after 7 long years. New testimony? And just who is this witness anyway? And it is... Fulbright! What? Bobby Fulbright's the name. In justice we trust. What are you doing here? I'm just here to speak for the hostage taker, Miss Aura Blackquill. She says she's too busy with confining and threatening the hostages and all. That doesn't seem to stop her from constantly chiming in through Clonco. I'm nothing more than an observer in this. Do your best. I'm watching you. Believing her brother innocent. Miss Blackquill has been conducting her own investigation. And though her current actions are hardly lawful, I think we can at least hear her theory. I have here Miss Blackwill's notes on the investigation she conducted. And I'll be giving the testimony based on these notes. Here I go. Alright, here we go. Oof. Aura Blackwill's theory. Here we go. Simon isn't the murderer. He was trying to cover for someone. Someone else was at the scene at the time. They say Simon committed the murder. I mean, if he really was out to steal that moon rock, then why the rolling case? Because he was using it to hide someone inside. That's why. And the only person small enough to fit inside that case was Athena Cykes. You don't say. And that's Miss Blackwill's theory. It totally goes in the face of the official ruling, huh? About the case she mentioned, there were the other rolling cases like that one in the lab, but they're not for traveling. They're apparently for moving parts and equipment. I vaguely remember seeing 3 cases, all different sizes. Wait, did I read it right? I vaguely remember seeing 3 cases, all different sizes. Okay. At the last trial, they thought that Prosecutor Blackquill used the case to steal the rock. And they had a perfectly good reason to think that too. You see, there's this security camera in the corridor That leads to the robotics lab. And that camera captured footage of Blackquill leaving the scene with the case. I can see why that footage helped to bring his trial to a quick end. It's very convincing, that's for sure. Alright, so the videotape has been updated. Video showing the corridor to the crime scene. Blackquill was the only one to pass through at the time of the crime. That case, by the way, was later discovered outside on the Space Center grounds. Speaking of after the incident, where was the defendant Athena Cykes found? She was found on the 5th floor of the Space Center in the Cykes family residence. Prosecutor Blackquill most likely brought her there after the incident. In addition, it's unknown where Miss Cykes was at the estimate time of death. Miss Cykes was too confused by the shock of her mother's death to give proper testimony. And I just heard a loud noise. Oh well, that's what happens when like big trucks, you know, like 18-wheelers and all that pass by our neighborhood. They pack a loud noise. Alright, anyways. And there was no witness or evidence to tell us where she might have been. So what you're saying is Miss Cykes didn't have an alibi? That is what the evidence is saying, yes? I understand the reasoning behind the theory, but I'm far from convinced. The victim is the accused's mother. Are you actually claiming an 11-year-old girl? Of course, the girl had a very strong motive. Dr. Cykes was a psychologist who wrote many papers and speech about speech and emotions. You're aware of Athena Cykes' special ability, aren't you, Your Honor? Are you referring to that therapy thing? Yes, she's done it quite a few times in court. The ability to read emotions from speech and the subject of her mother's research. Well, as long as it benefits society, I don't see any particular problem researching it. I don't like where this is heading. Not one bit. Dr. Cykes was so intent on her research, she forced her daughter to undergo experiments. Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you seriously suggesting? I've done my best to be delicate, but even you can't deny it to be true, Mr. Wright. No longer able to withstand the anguish of the experiments, Miss Cykes felt her only choice was to kill her own mother. I was kind of hoping if there was like less people, the frame rates would at least still be intact, but unfortunately that's not the case. Well, order in the court. What a tragic story. I hardly want to believe it myself, but we must proceed. Mr. Wright, if you could, Detective Fulbright, please refer to the notes. Alright, cross-examination time. Wow, that still looks the same, just like in the DS. What fond memories. Alright, so Simon isn't the murderer. He was trying to cover for someone. I'm gonna need some more info on that, so let's press.
Hold it!
So Prosecutor Blackquill willingly accepted a death sentence to protect someone else? Yes, that is precisely what Miss Blackquill appears to believe. And that is what I believe as well. Prosecutor Blackquill is no murderer, Mr. Wright. But Athena Cykes certainly didn't kill anyone either, Mr. Edgeworth. So it appears neither of us can afford to go easy on the other. Fine. I expect no less. Oh, I remember this tense atmosphere. It's so invigorating. You and I both, Judge. You and I both. I'm only reading notes here, but yeah, I feel extra invigorated too. So let's keep going. Let me see now. Well, I did press, Hold it. Let me see. I think it's best that if I press on everything. Alright, let's see. Someone else was at the scene at the time they say Simon committed the murder. But that's just speculation. Sorry, Cal Haybear, but the way you say objection could have been better, in my opinion. Believe me, you're a good voice actor, but the way you said objection wasn't good. I'm sorry. As I said, you're a good, you're a great voice actor. Don't get me wrong, but the way you said objection didn't sound so. You know what I mean. Like, so... Anyways. No. Miss Blackquill has proper grounds for her claims. See? Sam Riegel does say it quite well. Then... why didn't you say so in the first place?
Objection.
Yeah. How old is Edgeworth? 34. In a way, he still should have been, like, sounding a bit younger, in a way. You're the one who screamed, "Hold it," and cut me off. Fine, so maybe I jumped the gun by a teeny weeny bit. Now I know what they mean when they say close enough to argue. Moving on. I mean, if he really was out to steal that moon rock, then why the rolling case? This rolling case, I suppose you mean the one that existed in the photo with Prosecutor Blackquill in it, but was absent when the crime scene photos were taken. Yes, that's the one. And Miss Blackquill has drawn a conclusion from these two photos. She has? And what is that conclusion? You're the one with her notes. Oh, right. Of course. Reading them now, so why the rolling case? Let's see, because he was using it to hide someone inside. That's why. Let me press on that. And how do you propose he hit a person inside one of those cases? Have you forgotten that we saw just such a thing only the other day? At your own daughter's magic show. She fit a grown person into a small box. Oh, yeah. Way to ruin the memory of a good day. A magic show? I wish you would have thought to invite me. Actually, I would have liked to go too. My apologies. I'll invite you both next time. I promise. So, wait a minute. What were we talking about again? Prosecutor Blackquill was using the case to hide someone. And the only person small enough to fit inside the case was Athena Cykes. How? Give me an explanation. Or a better explanation. But that's nothing more than a conjecture. And it's hardly the only possibility. In that case, what do you think Prosecutor Blackquill had in that case? I think it was the moon rock.
Objection.
There were 3 cases at the scene, but Prosecutor Blackquill used the largest one. The moon rock was egg-shaped and only about 8 inches in diameter. It would have been it wouldn't have made any sense to use the largest case there. Just move that rock. Be that as it may, it doesn't prove Miss Cykes was inside. Then let me ask you this. Can you come up with a better theory of what was in that case? Well, Mr. Wright, can you? Yikes. Give a guy some time to think. Let's see. Should I try to bluff my way through what could have been in that case? Well, I might have a theory on that. Let's bluff. I know exactly what Prosecutor Blackquill carried from the scene. I just have to find something else that was missing, right? No sweat. Oh, I'd be very interested in hearing your theory, if it's true, that is. This is this is a crime scene, a photo taken after the Blackquill. I think, yeah, I pushed the button. Taken after Prosecutor Blackquill left, correct? All we have to do is compare this with this photo of Prosecutor Blackquill to see what's missing. If he took something with him, then it should be the one. It should be in one of these photos. Lady Luck, don't fail me now. All right then, Mr. Wright. Let's see. Oh, let's hear your theory. What did Prosecutor Blackquill take from the scene of the murder? What do we have to point at? What about this thing right here? The one with the writing, or assuming, of course, it's kanji writing, or I just see a bunch of X marks, like X's on it. But just as an in case, save state, legitimately that is. Okay. I'm gonna go on a hunch here, but let's see. Please notice that there's a robot part on top of the cart in this photo. However, in this photo taken after the crime, the robot part is gone. In other words, this part is something that was taken from the scene of the crime. You appear to be right. I don't see it in the second picture. But it's just a piece of junk. How important could it be? Is it really just an insignificant robot part? Speaking of which, what are you looking at? I'm gonna start charging for each a glance per eyeball. Stingy. What happened to the age of free previews? In cable TV, do free previews still exist? Who knows? I mean, like, when it comes to movie channels like HBO, Cinemax, Stars, you know, do they still have like free previews once in a while? I mean, it's been a long time. Well, I don't have cable TV. I mean, most of the stuff I see is either through local TV or certain channels, you know, like smart TV channels that basically provides people with most of the stuff they need. So in a way, they don't need actual cable TV. Just, you know, Wi-Fi or any kind of internet access is sufficient, you know, to watch a lot of channels that you don't see in cable TV. You know, I miss those times. Anyways, Your Honor, how about this robot part? Doesn't it look like it could be an arm from that robot there? Well, now that you mention it, it does, doesn't it? But the case is still too big to be practical for just the moon rock and a robot arm. But was it really just the one arm that was in there? If it wasn't Athena in the case, then maybe... I believe there was another robot at the scene that looks just like the one here. Your Honor, it is the defense's assertion that it was this other robot that was in the case. What?
Objection.
Yeah, I apologize if I'm moving my headset just a bit around. Ugh. My ears. That's why. It's my ears. Because I'm gonna try to move the headset just a bit so that my ears don't get... There we go. There we go. I think I should be just fine. Alright. We can't be certain that that part belonged to a robot. Well, I mean, yes. Excuse me. It looks like the arm of the one before us, but it could be something else entirely. Besides, it's wrapped in entirely in bandaging, making it difficult to verify what it is. I know for a fact. Hold on one second. There we go. I know for a fact that it is a robot arm. I can even tell which part it belonged to just by looking at it. With this info, we can investigate whether it was there at the time or not. But Mr. Wright, I thought you were more of the technological literate type. When did you become such an expert? I feel somehow abandoned. Not to worry, Your Honor. I still know next to nothing about machines. But I know this piece of evidence proves which robot arm it belongs to. And thus we present... Where is it? I think this is it. Yeah. Take a look at this photo. Notice you see those those bandages around Ponko. Yeah, for the record, I can tell which is which. Ponko is the orange, red, and Planko is the green one. Alright, let's go back and present the Hat 1 exhibit. The robot in this picture is named Ponko, but take a look at Ponko's arm. It was Miss Cykes who bandaged it up like that. She must have thought that machines heal in the same way that people do. What an adorable, naive mistake. It reminds me of my own grandchild. The robot arm at the crime scene had the same bandaging wrap around it. In other words, this robot arm could belong to none other than Ponko. Order in the court! Order, I say! Prosecutor Edgeworth, what do you have to say to this? I concede that the robot is about the same size as a child, but it cannot grab its knees and curl itself up into a ball. Even if it was the largest of the cases, the robot couldn't have possibly fit in there. The case does come up about mid-thigh on Prosecutor Blackquill. I see your point. The robot is much taller than that. They got me there. So then, Prosecutor Blackquill make Ponko fit into the case by, well, taking it apart in a way, or in this case, dismantling her. Of course, Ponko would fit. All Prosecutor Blackquill had to do was to dismantle her. Once taken apart, the robot could have easily fit inside that rolling case. It happens it appears to be a robot assembly device. Disassemble anything in a flash. Push the dismantle button. That sounds pretty neat. Can I push it, Mr. Nick? It sounds rather violent, but Mr. Wright does have a point there. Except that there was a body on the table where robots are dismantled and assembled. There would have been no room to take the other robot apart. But what if it wasn't on the table? What if the katana was used instead? You mean the sword? Yes, Your Honor. Miss Blackquill, I like your opinion as a woman of science. Isn't it true that the katana could have been used to take the robot apart? I suppose so. Their joints aren't made of a very tough material. A blade could slice through them. Thank you for your expert opinion, Miss Blackquill. Thanks to you, we now know that the existence of the severed arm in this photo proves that Ponko was taken apart. In addition, since the rest of Panko was not found at the scene, we can conclude that the true meaning of this photo is very different from the original interpretation. You can't mean... That's exactly what I mean. This photo does not capture the moment of the murder. It is instead a picture of the moment after the robot was sliced apart. The blood you see where the arm was cut off was transferred there by the bloody katana. Most likely, the rest of Panko is scattered around Prosecutor Blackwell's feet. Not hearing this, therefore, what was transported inside that case was not the defendant, but a robot. Miss Cykes never was at the scene at the time of the murder. My head! My body! Where am I? Gah! And the crowd goes wild. Order! Order in the court! It's true that Panko was found in pieces after the murder, and I'll admit I repaired her myself afterwards. Alright, so the photo of the crime has been updated. The photo shows Blackwell taking the robot apart. There's a blood stain at the end of the robot's arm. Yes, I'm finally making some progress. Hopefully I've gotten at least one step closer to prove Athena and Prosecutor Blackquill innocent.
Objection!
Well played, Mr. Wright. You've made your point abundantly clear. I can see that it wasn't the defendant inside the rolling case, but the robot. All right, what's going on here? It's never good when he plays things this straight. Does the prosecution withdraw its claim that that the defendant was carried from the scene? No, Your Honor. My claim hasn't changed.
Objection!
But Panko and Miss Cykes couldn't have both been inside that case.
Objection!
The notion that was the case was used to carry Miss Cykes was Miss Blackwell's theory. I have been of a different opinion from the outset. Now I finally have the opportunity to voice my theory. Thanks to the defense, Edgeworth. He's been one step ahead of me of this whole time. In that case, how do you propose the defendant left the crime scene? Simple. The footage only shows Prosecutor Blackwell from behind. What's more, he's holding his arm in front of his body, as if he were holding something or someone. That's hardly evidence. I have proof. The surcoat Prosecutor Blackwell was wearing. The victim's blood was found on the front of it, and the stain had a highly distinctive shape. A blood stain? What? With a distinctive shape? Please continue. Please continue, Edgeworth. 7 years ago, the defendant was known to constantly wear a certain item. of which there is only one in the world. Oops. Sorry. Of which there is only one in the world. A special pair of headphones made just for her. She always wears these big, heavy-looking headphones. This is Woods. She said her mother made them for her as part of her research. Analysis showed the bloodstain to be in the exact same shape as these headphones. In other words, this was no mere blood splatter. The blood went from the victim's body to the headphones, and then was imprinted on Prosecutor Blackwell's coat like a stamp. A most gruesome stamp indeed. Blackwell carried Miss Cykes, who had been hit by splatter, away from the crime scene. This proves that Athena Cykes was without question present at the crime scene. And that concludes the prosecution's argument. Yeah, it's never good news. It's never, ever good news for Phoenix. Oh boy. Order! If the defendant was indeed at the scene, it deepens the suspicion against her.
Objection!
But we've also shown that the robot was there at the scene as well.
Objection!
I hope you're not making that the ridiculous claim that a simple robot was the real murderer. There's that feeling again. That concerned this photo. There's that feeling again. I get the feeling that this robot, this assembly and assembly robot could have been the cause of the murder. I'm getting that feeling, seriously. Alright, back to where I was. I hope you're not making the ridiculous claim that a simple robot was the real murderer. I don't really think that. No, but you can't possibly. We'll say that the possibility isn't there. Detective Fulbright, was the robot questioned at the time? No, I don't see any record of it. I believe it was considered unrelated to the case. But as it turned out, the robot was actually integrally related. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Ponko to the stand. A robot witness? Order! Order in the court! Prosecutor Edgeworth, what do you think about this? Mr. Reich has called all manner of witnesses to the stand over the years. Even a parrot. No joke, even a parrot. Alright, where was I? So why not a robot? Nothing surprises me anymore with him. Very well. I will allow the witness. Bailiff, please summon the robot named Ponko. Witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is not Witness. My name is Ponko. Yes, I realize that, but when you are at the witness stand, you are The witness. No, I'm not. I'm Ponko. Say it with me. Ponko! What an utterly inflexible little robot. You're the last person who should be calling anybody inflexible. You remind me of my grandchild who just learned his own name. Oh, how precious. Alright, Ponko. I'm going to ask you some questions. Questions? You have questions? Hooray! What are your questions? I want to know if you were there at the scene of the murder of Athena Cykes. It was 7 years ago on the 7th of October around 2 p.m. in the robotics lab. Certainly. Just one moment. Searching data. Search complete. Yes, I was there in the robotics lab. Alright, so we're getting somewhere at least. It would seem this robot's testimony is necessary to this case after all. This is great. I just knew Ponko must have seen something important. A murder committed right before this poor little girl's eyes. It's inexcusable. The judge seems ready to adopt Ponko as another grandchild. So, little Ponko, do you think you can give us your testimony today? All right, here we go. What I saw. Here we go. I went to the robotics lab at 2 p.m. From my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis. And then Mommy Metis fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything. After I charged up, I was cleaning the room, and Mr. Simon came in. And then an error occurred. There is no date after that point. Well, it sounds like the defendant was without question at the scene. However, it does appear that the witness saw the actual moment of the murder. I disagree. This testimony shows that the defendant did indeed commit the crime. What? At the end of the day, we mustn't forget that this witness is still a machine. Being a robot is understanding and capacity to express itself are limited. So what are you suggesting? The witness's statements need to be interpreted. For example, the terms hugged and then later fell down. Adults don't usually fall down after being hugged by a child. They don't, but yes. What this witness's statements are telling us is that the defendant stabbed the victim with the murder weapon during this moment. What? Before Miss Cykes hugged Dr. Cykes, did the two of them converse? Yes, they did. And they spoke to each other very loudly, but I don't know what they said. Athena is usually quiet, so I was surprised. Spoke very loudly. We can interpret this to mean they argued. I see. murder after a heated argument, and then the victim fell down. I agree that it does sound like a reasonable interpretation. However, Ponko doesn't seem to remember anything that happened after that. When I am recharging, I go into sleep mode, but I remember everything before that. I have a very good memory. You may as well admit defeat now, right? A cross-examination would be useless. Don't be ridiculous. A cross-examination is never useless. Until now. Think about it. Robots don't lie. This robot is both an important witness and valuable evidence at the same time. Nevertheless, I will have my cross-examination. I see you haven't changed. You never were one to worry about wasting time. Very well. Even if it may be a waste of time, you may proceed, Mr. Wright. I'll show you both how just how fruitful any cross-examination can be. Alright, here we go. Let me see. Let's see. Let's see. I went to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. For my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis. And then Mommy Metis fell down. After that I was recharging, so I don't know anything. I'm gonna need some more info on that. Let's press. I don't want to delve too deeply here, but could you tell us how the victim appeared and acted at this moment? Mommy Metis was very surprised when she was hugged. I heard her heart pound. Her heart? Mr. Wright, have you forgotten about this document we found in the robotics lab? These robots have a heartbeat detection system. Now that he mentions it, I do remember reading something like that there. Speaking of which, let's read that right now. Ponko series features can determine the presence of a human with their heartbeat detection system. Recognizes people by scanning their spacesuit or uniform jacket ID tag. Can also recognize a person by facial features once the face has been registered. Can infer people's emotions by analyzing their tone of voice and communicate with them. Alright. Alright, let's see. They detect the presence of people by the sound of their heartbeats. But wait a minute. That means if Dr. Cykes really did die at this moment... Ponko, how was the Dr. Cykes after she fell down? Could you still hear the sound of her heartbeat? Let's see. The moment she fell, her heart was pounding. After that, I don't know. I started recharging just then. Of all the unlikely timing, if you had heard anything after that, it could have possibly proved that the hug wasn't actually the moment of the murder. I'm very sorry. I'm afraid I don't know. I'm very sorry. The robot is designed to go into sleep mode automatically, so it can't be helped. But it does appear it detected an increased heart rate at the moment of the stabbing. After Mommy Menace's heart started pounding in surprise, she fell by the window. It was the round window on the workbench side of the room. The workbench, huh? Ponko must be talking about the table to the right where that giant robot is now. Is there something critical in Ponko's statement just now? Well, yeah, it is. It is critical. Your Honor, I believe this statement is critical. I'd like it added to her testimony. Very well. Ponko, could you please add that statement to your testimony? That's a good little girl. Mommy Menace fell down near the room window on the workbench side of the room. On the workbench by the side of the room, huh? I kind of doubt that. 'Cause look at the photos. I don't think she fell near the side of the building. 'Cause from the looks of it, I think it looked squeaky clean. Except from the workbench side. So let's take a look at the east side. The moon rock was stolen. The Hope capsule can be seen on the workbench. There are rolling cases for moving equipment, a robot charging station, and a toolkit on the floor. There's a hanging scroll and Japanese theater mask on the wall. But why is there a coat there? That's what I want to know. On the west side, the victim's body was found on the operating table. A katana, the victim's staff jacket, and a cart were found nearby. She was found near the window. Sorry. She was found near the round window on the workbench side of the room. That's weird. According to this photo, she was laying down right there. And on top of that, she was in the charging station, you know, charging her battery. So how could she have known where she was? Let's present it.
Objection!
Ponko, your statement may have just inspired a breakthrough. I was helpful? Hooray! I'm so happy! Just to be sure, let's go over it again, okay? The victim fell near the window on the workbench side of the room. However, her body was discovered on the operating table. But the operating table and the workbench are two different locations. Exactly, Your Honor. We've just learned a new crucial fact. What could explain? What could explain the two very different locations of the body? I'll tell you what. If I'm gonna have to guess on something, it would have to be the victim moved. And a 11-year-old girl couldn't have moved the heavy body of an adult. So the only explanation is that the victim walked to the operating table herself. In other words, what Panko observed near the workbench couldn't possibly have been the moment of the murder. Whew, I am very relieved to hear that. I'm glad to know that that the murder wasn't committed by in front of little Panko here. Yes, as we just heard in the testimony, Miss Cykes hugged her mother. Nothing more.
Objection!
Right. It's been 8 years, but you're still just as green as ever. Green? But I can't recall ever seeing Mr. Wright in anything but a blue suit. Hey, blue's my favorite color. What can I say? If the defendant couldn't move the body herself, she could have had it moved for her. Moved for her, but Miss Cykes and the Dr. Cykes were the only ones there. I agree. Since this robot is equipped with heartbeat, with the heartbeat detection system, it would have been aware of another person's presence if someone else had been there. We can therefore conclude that the defendant and the victim were the only ones present. Then, who do you suggest moved the body? Don't you know it's in the nature of a robot to help people do things? Miss Panko, allow me to ask you a question. My name is Panko. Say it with me. Panko! I believe you said you were cleaning after Dr. Cykes fell down. Did you happen to move something large onto the operating table? Yes, I did. Athena asked me to. Athena asked you to? And what did you move, little Panko? I don't know. Unless something had an ID tag, I can't tell what it is. An ID tag, you say? Yes, a tag with a barcode on it. We robots scan them to tell us what a thing is. That paper in the lab did mention something about that. Recognizes people by scanning their spacesuit or jacket ID tag, it said. So it would appear that Miss Panko, that Miss Panko here can't identify what it moved. My name is Panko! But we humans have the power to imagine what it was, do we not? Excuse me. We do? Well, I do, at the very least. Miss Panko, on the defendant's command, moved the body onto the operating table. Gah! Panko, did you really move Dr. Cykes' body? This is really important. Is there any way you could tell? I don't know. Without an ID tag, I can't tell. Excuse me. Give it up, right? If the victim's heart was stopped, the robot's detection system would be useless. Furthermore, Dr. Cykes usually wore her white coat while she was working. She kept the jacket with her ID tag on it, draped over a chair in the robotics lab, and only wore it for special occasions. In other words, the victim wasn't wearing her ID tag at the time. From the robot's point of view, her body was simply just another object. But Ponko is equipped with a facial recognition system. If she really did move the victim, she would have recognized the body as the Dr. Cykes. But she didn't, so that means
Objection!
a face can easily be covered with a piece of cloth, a mask, or anything else for that matter. With her facial features hidden, the robot wouldn't be able to tell it was Dr. Cykes. He's right. Excuse me. To summarize, Miss Cykes stabbed her mother near the workbench, and then, using the robot, she moved the body to the table where she removed the sword and was stained in blood. Oh my. Order! But if that's not the case, then I have a question. Why did the defendant move the body to the operating table in the first place? You want a reason? Very well. What? You can't possibly have an explanation. Your emotions blind you to the truth. You could learn a lot from our robot friends. Calm and rational thought will open your eyes to the truth in front of you, Mr. Wright. Now then, do you remember the operating table's one special feature? I believe I read that robots can be assembled and disassembled there. Isn't that right? That's right. And to the defendant, who was just a child at the time, the table was like a magic box that can make robots appear or disappear in seconds. But in the end, my mom just put her on the operating table and fixed her in a flash. I was so impressed by what my mom did. I even asked her if she would put me on the table and fix me if I ever got hurt. I think we're getting into that moment that's been on my mind. It looked just like magic to me, what she could do. You can't possibly be suggesting this young, sheltered girl had a difficult time distinguishing robots from people. But to take a look at Ponko's arm, it was Miss Cykes who bandaged it up like that. She must have thought that machines heal in the same way that people do. What an adorable, naive mistake. It reminds me of my own grandchild. No way! I refuse to believe it! Miss Cykes made a childish, naive, and cruel mistake. She thought that if a robot can be dismantled and vanish without a trace. But Prosecutor Edgeworth, if you're about to claim what I think you are, I demand that you word it as delicately as you can. With all due respect, Your Honor, all I can do is present the truth as it stands. The reason the defendant moved the victim's body to the operating table. No, don't say another word. Just stop. Was to dismantle the evidence so that she could get away with her crime. That can't be true. Well, not exactly what I was talking about, but sure, why not? Order! Order in the court! Order in the court, I say! Edgeworth, she was just a little kid. How can you say such a horrible thing? Horrible? Like I said, you're just as green as ever. DL6 incident, and then all those memories come up, and then he starts to feel green. Now you know how that feels. I came here today as a prosecutor to seek only the truth. No more, no less. My theory is simply the result of a rational consideration of every possibility.
Objection!
But dismantling isn't the table's only function. It can make repairs as well. 'Cause think about it. If the dismantling button were to be pressed, yeah, she would have been torn to bits. But the culprit, whoever it is, even if it quote was Athena, she would have pressed the assembly button. But if the dismantling button were to be pressed, yes, I know it sounds like it sounds gory and all, but it would have dismantled her whole body. Yeah, like I said, it does sound gross and all, and I'd rather not think about it. But dismantling isn't the only function. It can make repairs as well. It's conceivable that Miss Cykes moved her mother to the table in order to fix her. I suppose that could be another way of interpreting it. But dismantle or a repair, it doesn't matter either way. What do you mean? After murdering her mother, Miss Cykes may have come to her senses. Perhaps she did want to make it appear as if it had never happened. And that's why she tried to repair her. Well, to repair her mother. Yes, that's one possible explanation. But we mustn't forget the facts of this case. The victim was observed to fall down after being hugged by the defendant, and the body was moved per the defendant's command. These two facts, Facts that indicate the defendant's guilt remain unchanged. This just can't be true. Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence to refute the prosecution's claim? Evidence? Right. Let's see. I can't think of anything. I'm afraid I don't have any evidence. Since becoming chief prosecutor, I've learned that the truth isn't always pretty. Now, accept the truth, Mr. Wright. Your subordinate murdered her own mother. Your Honor, the prosecution demands a verdict. The hostages have suffered enough. What a terrible and tragic conclusion. If the defense has no counter-argument, I see no further need to prolong this trial. Edgeworth's own argument seems solid enough, but there's no way Athena could have ever done anything like that. What do I do? There has to be something, but I can't think of a single thing. If it was Prosecutor Blackquill, shouldn't have we heard his voice? Was there like a sound glitch or something? I don't know. Prosecutor Blackquill. This is quite the farce you are conducting here. I could die from laughter. Prosecutor Blackquill, what are you talking about? What I'm talking about is that your argument is based on an entirely false premise. Go on. We're listening. Could this be the miracle I need? But what is Prosecutor Blackquill trying to pull up here? Well, to pull here. 7 years. For 7 long years. This case has been on my mind. Not for an instant did I not think of it. I'm the one who killed my mentor, and don't think you can alter that fact now. Your baldness, I will take to the stand, and I won't take no for an answer. Of course, Prosecutor Blackquill. Please, go ahead. Alright. Here we go. 7 years ago. Whew, here we go. 7 years ago. I went to Cosmos Space Center with the intention of killing Dr. Cykes. But when I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena there. I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Cykes to return. And then I committed the act. How cathartic it was. But little Ponko here witnessed the victim falling. In other words,
Objection!
I don't need any of your other words, old man. I guess I can guess what happened. Which would be she fell. She fell means she fell. Merely that. A mother and child fooling around. Perhaps she tripped. Not that it matters. When I entered the lab, there was no trace of Dr. Cykes to be seen. There was no dead body either, of course, meaning she must have left the room. So the murder occurred after the time period Ponko described her in her testimony? You should hardly take stock in the words of a wind-up toy. Wind-up toy, sorry. Then how do you explain the fact that the defendant had the robot moving something. Athena was always tinkering with robots on the operating a table to amuse herself. And she always had Ponko to move the heavy ones for her. That day was no different. Ponko moved a heavy robot for Athena. You don't say. This is awful. What he's saying seems to make sense, and yet...
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackquill, are you trying to even now to turn away from the truth? Don't you realize we could bring the dark age of the law to a close today?
Objection!
You expect too much from me. I'm just a murderer beyond redemption. Why don't you just let me go so I can settle down into Hiffle? Prosecutor Blackwell's execution is tomorrow. If the truth doesn't come out, it's all over. Are you saying that the little girl and the robot had nothing to do with the murder? That's right. So let's hear your verdict. Your verdict. If we don't hurry, I might miss the ferry across the Styx. Wait a minute. Don't you dare, Judge. Don't forget, I have hostages over here. And Simon, how long are you going to cover for her? Miss Blackquill. Forgive me, Aura. I never wanted you to do anything like this for me. But you agreed to this trial. If you have a counter argument, then present your evidence. That's the rule of the courtroom. Isn't that right, Chief Prosecutor? Blackquill, you selfish... Well, to be frank, I don't like this, but it's my duty to make a decision. If no one has a counter-argument, I will announce my verdict. Is this really happening? Is it really going to end just like it did 7 years ago? I wanted it so bad, even now. I want to fly out of here and go save him. No, I can't tell her. But how can I lie to Athena if I can't prove Prosecutor Blackwell's innocence in this trial? I don't think Athena will ever forgive me. I can't let this happen, but I just don't have the evidence to counter Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony. Wait a minute. Athena, what are you feeling okay? I can hear it. I can hear the voice of his heart. He's hiding something. If he really is, I could sure use Athena's help here. Her power might be just the thing to get us through this. Cykes, Dono. No need for your chime in here. Just accept that you're innocent.
Objection!
These past 7 years, they've been just as hard on me, you know. What are you talking about? Do you remember that horrible trial? Please, you have to listen to me. He didn't kill her. His heart is screaming that he didn't kill her. Even now, every time I stand in a courtroom, it comes back to haunt me. Not being heard, No matter how hard you try, feeling so helpless? Caught in people's stares, so scared that it feels like your chest is in a vise. I'm terrified of courtrooms. I want to run out of that door even now. And yet, you found a way to keep your fears at bay and become a lawyer. Thanks. That's because one day I came to realize that I had to fight. I couldn't give up. I exercised hard and I studied hard. I wanted to become the strongest lawyer I could be. This day has finally come. The day I've been looking forward to with all my heart. This is why I became a lawyer. This is why I study psychology. It was all to save you from this false conviction. But Miss Cykes, do you realize what it would mean? You are the accused, after all. If you prove Prosecutor Blackquill innocent, then the only thing that matters is the truth. It's my duty to find out what that truth is. Simon, please give me this chance. A chance to shake off this fear that's been with me for 7 years, and to face the truth. Athena's being so brave, confronting her past like this. This might be the last chance to save them both. Well, we've gone this far, so I might as well see it to the end, you know? Prosecutor Blackquill, please testify one more time about the incident 7 years ago. Fine, but your efforts will surely be in vain. For I am not a man who can be cut down easily. Well, you're about to be surprised. Here we go, Simon. Let me hear the voice of your heart. Mood Matrix, activate! I went to Cosmos Space Center with the intention of killing Dr. Cykes. And wow, that's a lot of anger there. But when I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena there instead. But but not only is he angry, but he's feeling happiness. He's feeling happiness. Well, just a bit. Well, the happiness does feel a bit strong, but trust me, the anger level is through the roof. However, the happiness feels like it's there. Let's pinpoint that part. This feeling of happiness, even though the person you were looking for wasn't there, you felt happy. Why is that? Simple. When I was looking for Athena and hadn't found her yet, I grew worried. So when I saw her in the robotics lab, I was happily relieved. Merely that. Wow, it went down all the way from 100 to 40%. That's 60% gone. That was that was kind of too easy, you know? But I get the feeling there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, there's a lot more than what Prosecutor Blackquill is holding. Just now, you said that you went to the space center to kill Dr. Cykes. But the first thing you did was look for her daughter instead? I had no intention of harming Athena, so I wanted to confirm that she was safe first. It was just a part of my plan. Nothing contradictory about that. The second I find any inconsistency, he cuts it down. Simon knows the principles of analytical psychology. There's less noise now, but I don't see any instabilities we can latch on to. I was afraid of that. We'll just have to keep chipping away at him then, bit by bit. Could you update his testimony, Athena? You got it, boss. Alright, so let's continue on here. There should be an update going on. Here we go. Info update. When I found Athena in the robotics lab, I was relieved. But I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Cykes to return. And when she did, I plunged the katana in. Though he's feeling sad or worried, like he's scared. I guess we're gonna have to press on that. Not even you can falsify your emotions, Prosecutor Blackquill. What? When you said you killed Dr. Cykes in your testimony, you felt sadness. Why would someone who had laid in wait to kill her be sad at her death? Such an obvious attack. Yes, I felt sadness, but it wasn't for her. I felt sorrow for Athena and her circumstances. He can't be talking about that, can he? I was just a convenient subject for her research. Dr. Cykes was so intent on her research, she forced the daughter to undergo experiments. My objective was to save Athena from an obsessive scientist who treated her own daughter like a research subject. What? I went to this psychology lab first. That's where I usually find Athena playing. But that day was different. I heard someone crying in the robotics lab next door. Was Athena being subjected to yet another experiment? I thought as I went to see. Conveniently, Athena had cried herself to sleep, so all I had to do was wait and kill. So that's why he was relieved when he saw Athena. But is this story really true? I'm not sure how much to believe. Mr. Wright? How are you doing, Athena? Still hanging in there? I'm a lot stronger than I look, boss. Now, take a look at this. The noise level actually increased. Figured as much. It went up. I've never seen it do that before. Prosecutor Blackquill is lying somewhere in his testimony. As a matter of fact, he's piling lie onto top of lie in an attempt to make his claims sound more believable. He's trying even harder to suppress his true feelings, and that's what's causing the noise. How in the world should I approach this? I can either use evidence-based approach if I can find a contradiction. Otherwise, I should look for an inconsistency in his emotions. There are no flaws in my testimony, and his boldness is prepared to give his verdict. Give up on this lost cause, and let the law free me from these chains already.
Objection!
I don't think so. Not while I'm around. Wow. Well, now, contradictory testimony or inconsistent emotions? Which should I tackle first? Let's go for feelings. Okay, let's take a look for consistent emotions. Got it, boss. Yeah, because if you recall, his noise level went up from, well, his noise level went up 20%, and we have to figure out what it is. But if you want to try looking for a contradictory statement instead, just let me know. I can easily switch over. Alright, so I heard crying from next door. Of course, I was worried. I hurried over and opened the door to the robotics lab. He looks shocked. In the previous scene, he was like kind of happy or worried, but now it went from that to just plain shocked. I'm gonna have to press on that. How odd. Why would you register surprise at opening the door to the lab? Alright, fine. I'll explain if I must. What surprised me was Ponko. That toy figure attacked me. Dr. Cykes knew full well of my plan to rescue Athena, but she couldn't stand guard over her daughter 24 hours a day. So Dr. Cykes had Ponko do it? That's right. She ordered Ponko to forcibly remove me on sight. So I slashed Ponko with the katana that was there in the lab. That rickety old puppet wasn't worthy of that fine blade. Mr. Wright, it's happening again. There's even more noise now. Oh, great. It's at 100% now. What's going on here? Whenever we find an opening, he covers it up with lies. We'll never get the rest of the noise at this rate. It's pretty hard to keep telling coherent lies like that. His mind and will really are as as sharp and strong as a katana. Alright, so what should I tackle now? I guess now the testimony then. I think there might be an inconsistency in Blackwell's testimony. Alright, let's give it a thorough check then. Let's see, with the feeling of dread, I had opened the robotics lab. Then Ponko attacked me. I retaliated by cutting it into pieces. Let's present something. The photo of crime. It's the only thing I can think of right now.
Objection!
Compounding lies with more lies is never the answer, Prosecutor Blackquill. Take a look at this photo. That's the photo of the supposed moment of the murder, isn't it? How many more times must I see that that which damned me for my sin? Yes, for the record, that D word is in the book. Ouch. Sorry, my leg was a bit itchy there. Alright. How many times must I see that darned me that which darned me for my sin? The ironic thing is, I think this picture is actually going to be your savior now. See the bloodstains at the end of Ponko's arm, where it was severed with the katana. I hope you aren't claiming it's the robot's blood, Mr. Wright. No, most likely the blood was transferred there from the bloody katana. The katana already had blood on it? So then it must have been the victim's blood? That's right. But if that's the case, we found a glaring inconsistency. You said in your testimony that you cut up Ponko, and then you killed Dr. Cykes. But in spite of that, the victim's blood is already on Ponko's arm in this picture. What? But that couldn't be. Exactly. In order for the blood to have transferred from the sword to Ponko's arm, the victim must have been stabbed first, before the robot was slashed. In other words, Prosecutor Blackquill, your entire testimony is nothing but one giant ball of lies. Gah! Tell the court the truth, Prosecutor Blackquill, now. You have no idea what you're doing. His voice, there's so much discord. I'm hearing not just one or two, but a bunch of rampaging emotions here. It's hard to describe. It's like a violent whirlpool or something. Phoenix Wright, you will pay for this. Never have I been forced to reveal so much, but the rest I'll take to my grave. Prosecutor Blackquill, you are on the witness stand. You are obligated to tell the truth. Isn't that the rule of the courtroom? All of these complex emotions, they seem to be flowing from one source. I think whatever he really saw that day is what's causing these feelings. It's an overload. Wow, everything is blinking. All the emotions are blinking. Oh dear. Hmm. Yeah, this is gonna be something, but... Alright, so emotions have nothing to do with it, but I think it has to be something else. But let's probe here. What is causing those strong emotions? In other words, everything to go all crazy. Well, the only thing I can think of is Athena. When you opened the door and saw Athena, you became overwhelmed by your emotions. Isn't that right, prosecutor? You should know better. And though it's pathetic, I admit I'm terrified to speak of it. Prosecutor Blackquill, Miss Cykes is innocent. I will always believe that with all my heart. Now, can't you find it within yourself to believe in me too? Was that a tear I just saw, or sweat? Athena is innocent, huh? Can you honestly say you believe that to be true, right, Dono? I give you my word. Now tell me what you really saw when you opened that door. Yep, he's sweating. Curse you, Phoenix Wright! It was a tragedy. One I'll never forget. When I arrived at the lab, Dr. Cykes was already dead. She was lying on the operating table, while the bloody katana lay on the floor. And standing between the two, covered in blood, was Athena. She smiled, with a far-off look in her eyes, as she sweetly said, very, very creepy. Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her apart to fix her. That's what I saw. And now you have it. The truth that you so desperately wanted. No. Prosecutor Blackquill finally tells the truth. And this is what it is? It's beyond devastating. I tried to take my mother apart. I believe me, even I don't want to say it. Oh, wow. So it was me. I'm the one who killed my mother. Athena, as I said, right. The truth isn't always pretty. Murder, the disassembly on an operating table, a scientist using her daughter as a guinea pig. Sadly, it appears that my theory was correct after all.
Objection!
It's true that Athena didn't like her mother's research. You dare cast aspersions on my mentor by claiming Athena was used in such a manner? Dr. Cykes could be awkward with people, but she loved her daughter with all her heart. She loved me? Your mother hated to see you suffer because you could hear the voices of people's hearts. She wanted to set you free of your pain, so she worked tirelessly on her research. Do you remember those headphones you hated so much? Yes, my head hurt every time I wore them. No, Athena, it's just the opposite. They emitted sound waves to nullify emotional input from the voices of people around you. Your power was much stronger than it is now, and those headphones were what enabled you to carry on with everyday life. No, that can't be true. Then why? Why would I have done something like that to somebody who loved me so much? Her love for you was real. That I can guarantee. That's why I knew that what happened had to be some kind of mistake. I couldn't let you be punished for it. So you took the blame yourself. You and your mentor are more alike than you know. Ponko was a witness, so I put it in a case, held Athena close, and vacated the lab. I threw Ponko away in the boarding lounge trash chute, and I hid the case on the space center grounds. It would seem that we know that we now have all of the facts of this case.
Hold it!
No, not yet. It can't end like this.
Objection!
Do not disgrace yourself, right? The truth has been revealed. Or are you the type of a man to turn your back to things that disagree with you? I'm not. But this, I can't give up now. I have to say something, anything, even if it's a bluff. All he has to do is mention one word. That one word, the one thing that Blackquill has had on his mind since his first appearance. And I think y'all know what that is. And that could be the real murderer. But how is it even possible? All the more reasons to continue on. I've always managed to pull through that away in the past. I have to make it work. The defense is prepared to present evidence. Mr. Wright. Yes, Athena? It's okay. You can stop now. I don't want you or anyone else to suffer any longer for my sake. Athena, what are you saying? I killed my mother. That's the truth. It's just like Prosecutor Edgeworth said. We have to face it, no matter how much it hurts. I admit my guilt. But could I please be granted just one chance to tell everyone what I recall? It appears Miss Cykes is much braver than you, Mr. Wright. What say you, Your Honor? In light of her courage, will the court give Miss Cykes this opportunity to confess? Very well. Then, if you would please take the stand, Miss Cykes. Thank you for letting me do this, Prosecutor Edgeworth. And thank you, Mr. Wright, and Prosecutor Blackquill, for letting the truth be known. Now we can finally move forward, and everyone's suffering can come to an end. Athena. Prosecutor Blackquill will be cleared, and the dark gauge of the law can come to an end. Yes, admit your guilt and bring everything to its conclusion. I killed my mother. My memory is still a little hazy. There's a clue right there. There's no question. I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands and the feeling of it stabbing in deep. And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers. But something's bugging me. If the katana is, quote, the murder weapon, but Athena was a little girl, a katana should be a very heavy blade for her to wield. I get the feeling about something. Let's move on. Your Honor, please find me guilty. I dare say, these are all memories that have no one but the murderer would have. I see. Thank you for your confession. I believe this trial has gone long enough. But before we conclude, does anyone have a counter-argument?
Objection!
I do, Your Honor. Mr. Wright. But, Mr. Wright, why? I killed her. I remember it now. Well, think about what you said a little earlier. My memory is a little hazy. Even that sentence right there can also be, is also can have some doubts, that what she's telling is not the truth. So any counter argument now is pointless.
Objection!
Don't tell me you've forgotten one of the basic tenets of lawyering. Always believe in the client to the bitter end. Athena, you are not a murderer.
Objection!
I said that you never change, but could you have actually regressed in these 8 years? I won't stand for your childish emotionalism getting in the way of the truth. Emotionalism? Don't lecture me on matters of the heart, Edgeworth. Because I can see straight into a person's soul. Let's reveal them locks now. I did a little research. I looked into those special psych locks you mentioned, Mr. Nick. Athena is trying to keep anything trying to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, a part of her heart and her memories are sealed off, even from herself. There's still a chance, somewhere deep in Athena's heart. There might still be a memory that not even she knows about it yet. It might be looking for a grain of sand somewhere in the cosmos, but still, that memory might contain a new fact that could prove her innocence. I hope, for everyone's sake, that you are not just bluffing, Mr. Wright. Now then, is there or is there not a problem with Miss Cykes' confession? My memory is still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. See that little sentence? My memory is still a little hazy. There's a clue right there. Meaning, that confession of hers may not be the whole truth. It may not be the whole truth. All right, moving on. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hand, and the feeling of it stabbing in deep. Another thing she mentioned: the weight of the weapon. She was a little girl at the time, so there was no way, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything, there's no way that she can hold a katana. The katana is a heavy blade. Well, depending on how much weight is put into it, but yeah, that weapon can be heavy for a minor to hold. It can be. I'm not saying it can't, but it can be. And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle and on to my fingers. There's definitely something wrong with her memory of the event. I can just tell. If there is a problem with her confession, please prove it to this court right now. So yeah. Let's show the problem of this certain weapon, the katana itself. Isn't that the katana the defendant used to kill the victim, Mr. Wright? I respectfully and vehemently disagree, Your Honor. But I remember it. I remember holding the weapon and getting blood on my fingers. That's exactly my point. If blood really did get onto your fingers while you're holding it, well, yeah, that is true. Because to take a look at the handle. Oops, sorry. Okay, there we go. Because take a look at the handle. Do you see any blood on it? I don't. I see no blood on it whatsoever. But there is another weapon that may have blood that may have blood on it. I'm just gonna go on a guess here, but we'll see if I'm right. Alright, so where was I? That's exactly my point. If blood really did get on your fingers while you're holding it, there should be blood on the handle. But please focus on the handle of the sword. There's no trace of blood on it. And therefore, this is clearly a contradiction of the facts. You're right. Oh my! The defendant must have simply confused a portion of her memories. She mentioned it was hazy to begin with, and we can't mull over every minor detail. You think you have a choice on that? But she also said there's no question. I remember it, a fact we can't ignore. In that case, why don't you explain what this contradiction with her memory means? Gladly. Just give me a sec to think of something. I want to say that Athena didn't stab anyone. But she said it herself that she remembers the feeling of committing the act. Think, Phoenix, think. What could the contradiction with Athena's memories mean? The only thing I can think of is the defendant used a different weapon. It had to be a blade that she can lift, something she can carry. Because a katana, yes, a big blade it is. A girl her age, well, right now, as she was in the past, like I said, I'm not trying to be mean, but it would be impossible for her to wield it. And even if she did, the weight of the blade will make her go, will make her balance, go unbalanced. Well, I guess I'll let the story explain it, but hopefully it does. Miss Cykes said blood flowed down the handle, but the katana's handle is spotless. So, doesn't it follow that the defendant must have used a weapon other than the katana? What are you up to this time? This is it. This time I found just the thing to end Athena's nightmare for good. The weapon that took Dr. Cykes' life was the katana. That much is for sure. So if I can show a possibility that Athena didn't use the katana, it could help me prove her innocent. A different weapon, you say? What weapon would that be exactly? Right, of course you would ask that. I can see you're floundering, Mr. Wright. Did you speak without thinking again as always? How does he do that? But I can't back down. Not here, not now. That's right, I did. Because it's so obvious, it doesn't require any thought. What did you say? Okay, so maybe that was an exaggeration, but there has to be something. Was there something other than was there some other bladed weapon in the robotics lab that day? Maybe there's something in one of the crime scene pictures. Wait a minute, there is something. There is a high probability that was in the lab. I don't have that particular weapon here in evidence right now, but I do have a piece of evidence just like that. Or like it. Other than the katana, there is another blade that may have been at the crime scene. And thus we present the utility knife. And it's easy to carry, even someone as young as Athena can hold it, since that knife doesn't weigh that much, at least like a pound or less, I think. I don't know. Let's see. But that's the murder weapon in the Clay Turan case. Yes, this is the knife that took Mr. Turan's life. But there must have been a knife just like this at the scene 7 years ago as well. Toolkits containing utility knives like this one are issued to Space Center employees, and a robotics lab especially would naturally have one of these around.
Objection.
But besides the katana, no other bladed weapon was found at the site. It was in the investigation report, if you didn't know. But what if it was taken, though?
Objection.
Oh, of course, I knew that. Once you told me just now. Then here's something else you already knew. There was a toolkit at the scene, but it didn't contain any blades. Here's a photo of its contents. You're right. I don't see any kind of bladed tool. Fine. But isn't there something odd about the design of these handles? Therefore, there was no other bladed weapon in the room.
Objection.
I disagree. This toolkit contained a knife. And what proof do you have of that? Don't tell me your eye for art is failing you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You are the last person in the world who should be criticizing my aesthetic sense. Now, he's simply watching out for your ocular health. Please proceed, Mr. Wright. Notice that the handles of each of these tools have a sort of design on them. I see that they do, but what significance does that have? It's clear that one of the tools is missing from this kit. If we arrange the tools into a specific pattern, we might be able to tell which part of the overall design is missing. Is that the theory your pitiful sense of aesthetics helped you come up with? Edgeworth, just let it go, man. Show the court then, if you would. What part of the design would see if we have if we were to rearrange the tools? And thus we present this little baby here, the robots with hearts. Because think about it. Take a look. Oh, it doesn't have the picture on it. Oh well, let's present it. And what a design is supposed to represent? The Gyaxa logo. I think that's how I said it, Your Honor. It's on all of the Space Center's documents and pamphlets. As you're aware, Gyaxa is the program that operates the Cosmos Space Center. Look at how bright the Gyaxa logo shines in the sunlight above the entranceway. I really dig the stars and rocket motif it's got going. Gyaxa, huh? Isn't that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program? Ah, I think I see it now. But yes, with just the tools shown in this photo, the red A of a part of the logo is missing. And this is where the murder weapon from the Tehran case comes into play. If we were to place the utility knife in the open slot, booyah! Puzzle complete. It would complete the Gyaxa logo. So it would. Then that means... Admit it, Mr. Edgeworth. My aesthetic sense is keener than yours. And while you're at it, admit that the weapon Miss Cykes used could have been this one. Order! Order in the court! Miss Cykes confessed to having a memory of stabbing the victim. Admittedly, Miss Cykes most likely likely did stab someone using the utility knife. However, the weapon used to kill Dr. Cykes was the katana. Therefore, the act of stabbing that Miss Cykes remembers couldn't be that of Dr. Cykes. Very well. Let's suppose for a minute that Miss Cykes did use the utility knife. Tell me, how does that change anything? Come again? What if the katana was only being used as a decoy to conceal the true murder weapon? What if the real weapon that took the victim's life was the utility knife? So don't be ridiculous, or are you changing the premise of your entire argument? I'm merely offering a hypothetical situation derived from your logic. Miss Cykes couldn't put blood on the katana to make it look like the murder weapon, and then conceal the knife on her personage until Blackquill carried her away. That does clear up the contradiction between Miss Cykes' memories and the evidence. If, in fact, the murder weapon is a utility knife, then fate has dealt you a cruel hand. For you have just proven the knife's existence to the rest of us with your own logic. The prosecution is attempting to lead the court. You're the one attempting to lead the court, Mr. Wright, by forcing us the facts of this case. Need I remind you that there were only 2 people in the lab at the time of the murder, and that the defendant herself recalls stabbing someone with her own hands. No. It matters not whether the murder weapon was a katana or knife, as long as we know that the victim and the defendant were the only ones there. You cannot escape the fact that it was Athena Cykes who killed her own mother. I don't believe it. Why? Why does this keep? Why does this keep happening? Well, I think it's supposed to say keeps happening. Every time I find a contradiction, it vanishes, and the suspicion keeps coming back. It almost as if. Now you're really finally starting to get it. Your contradictions keep vanishing because the charge is true, and the suspicion keeps coming back to the defendant because that's where it belongs. Phoenix, right? When will you open your eyes and accept the truth? I'm not gonna say it that long, so forget it. I don't want to believe it. It can't be true. But what if... Mr. Wright, you fought a good fight. I think you've done all you can do. Is giving up really the only option? No. Snap out of it, Phoenix. What's the matter with you? Giving in to doubt? I can't look back. Forward is the only way to go. No, Your Honor, not yet. It isn't over yet. Right. I can't lose sight of what's important. I believe in Athena, and I'll always believe in her. To the very end. A defense lawyer never gives up on his client. I have to pick myself up and stand firm. Make that brain of yours work, Phoenix. If I don't see a way, I'll just have to go back and look for one. Time to rethink this case. Thoroughly. I can see the fact that Athena must stab someone with the knife. This must have been what Panko witnessed as Athena's hug. But Prosecutor Blackquill didn't see the knife at the scene. This means that someone must have removed it from the lab before he arrived. Who could have taken the knife from the lab? I would have to say someone else. A third person was at the scene. That's one quote there. If I trust in Athena, I have to conclude there was a third person at the scene. But according to Panko's testimony, Athena and her mother were the only two there. So then how did this third person manage to escape Panko's detection? I know. This person must have fooled Panko's face recognition feature by covering... Hide their own face? I'm just gonna have to go roll with it. The person hid their face. But wait a minute. Panko has a heartbeat detection system too. Even if they covered their own face, Panko would have still detected their presence. But she wouldn't have been able to tell who they were. Wait! That's it! The culprit could have covered their face and posed as which person to avoid detection. That would have to be the victim herself, Metasky. Oh, Cykes, sorry. The person posed as the victim. If the culprit posed as the victim, that would explain why Ponko thought only she and Athena were there. All they had to do was take advantage of Ponko's basic recognition features. The culprit used this in order to pose as the victim. Well, what else? The jacket. Because remember, the jacket had the ID tag on it. The culprit could have posed as the victim by wearing her jacket with the ID tag on it. But that still leaves the heartbeat detection system. How did the culprit get around that? It wouldn't have worked if Ponko could detect the real Dr. Cykes as his heartbeat too. So does that mean that the real Dr. Cykes was already dead by that time? If that's the case, then who did stab Athena? Who did Athena stab? That would be the real culprit, actually. Athena stabbed the real culprit. That's it! The person Athena stabbed wasn't Dr. Cykes. It was the person who murdered her, and then pretended to be her. The real culprit. Now that Mr. Wright has finally finished thinking, let us bring this to a swift end. Please give us your verdict, Your Honor, so that we can move on to the hostage negotiations. You are absolutely right, Prosecutor Edgeworth. I hereby...
Objection!
I didn't say I was finished. I was only pausing for a second, because I realized something so shocking I had to take a break to digest it. But now I know for a fact that Miss Cykes is innocent. But Ponko saw me. She witnessed the moment of the crime. Yes, Ponko did witness something. She saw the hug. In other words, the moment you used the knife, but the person you stabbed wasn't your mother. What are you saying, Mr. Wright? The answer is simple. The person Miss Cykes stabbed was a third person posing as Dr. Cykes. What? Do you really expect us to swallow that, Mr. Wright? According to the robot's statements, there was no third person there. Did you really think I wouldn't see through your ludicrous grab for time? After all we've been through, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm disappointed. Don't you know by now that this smile of mine means I have absolute confidence? You make that pose all the time, regardless of the facts. Klonko's strange malfunction. Mr. Turan, you look pale. Shall I help you to the sick bay? Mr. Turan, but that's Apollo you're talking to. Oh, this hunk of junk here is mistaking Apollo for Clay. Maybe Apollo is possessed by Clay's ghost. Or the matter of fact is that the jacket Apollo was wearing still had Clay's ID tag. That was another case of mistaken identity caused by a jacket ID tag. All because Klonko couldn't read Apollo's facial features due to the eye patch. Like Mr. Edgeworth said, a mask can nullify the robot's recognition, and then all the person would have to do is wear a jacket with the victim's ID to pose as her.
Objection.
Of all the ridiculous theories, what good would a silly little disguise like that do? Have you forgotten that the robot also has a heartbeat detection system? If there was a third person at the scene, the robot would have detected them. I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, but that doesn't count for much, I'm afraid. Because by that time, Dr. Cykes' heart had already stopped beating. What? So does that mean... Yes, Your Honor. The person Miss Cykes stabbed... This third person who was posing as Dr. Cykes is her mother's real killer. But that's... impossible! Oh, the shock of everybody. A mask? That... the person I stabbed was wearing a mask? Order! Order in the court! Miss Cykes, did you say something? A mask. Yes, I remember, Athena, what is it? Reveal the locks. I remember a man with a mask. How could he? What did he do to my mother? My head. Ah! Miss Cykes, are you all right? No! The Black Cyclops. They're breaking. All of them, really. Yes, yes! Break! Break! And they're broken! Every last one of them. It's all coming back to me. Everything that happened the day my mother was murdered. They're gone. The Black Cyclops are finally gone. You didn't really stab your mother, did you? It's all right, Athena. Just tell us what you saw that day. I was drawing a picture. When I was done, I went to show it to my mom. I opened the door, and then... It's all right. I'm right here. You're safe, Athena. She was on the floor by the workbench with a katana sticking out of her. There was a handkerchief over her face, but I knew it was her by her clothes, and there was a man there. A man?
Hold it!
Quiet, Your Honor. Go on, Athena. He tried to attack me. In a panic, I grabbed the knife that was there, and he dodged at first, so I only got his clothes. But I tried again. And this time, you got him, didn't you? I did. I remember it clearly now. The knife went into the back of his hand. Then he kicked me, and I passed out. Alright, so... El Cuchillo has been updated. The murder weapon in this case, Athena also used one of these to stab the the Phantom's hand during the incident 7 years ago. Why would they put the Phantom that quickly? Couldn't they just put to stab the third person? I don't know. Like it makes the evidence too revealing. When I came to, my mom wasn't moving. I had to do something. I had to fix her, I thought. So I asked Ponko to move her to the operating table. Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her apart to fix her. So that's why she said. Your Honor, as you can see, the defendant has just given us new testimony. A man was there before Miss Cykes arrived. A man who covered the victim's face and put on the victim's jacket. This man is the real culprit. Miss Cykes, do you have any idea who this man was? No, I'm afraid I don't. A few moments ago, Miss Cykes mentioned a mask. Athena, can you tell us anything about that? Yes, the mask. It was my mom's. I think it's supposed to say kabuki mask, but you know, since it's localized, we have to say it was Mom's Japanese theater mask. I think it was the one hanging on the wall of the lab. This mask hanging here on the wall. It was kind of spooky. That mask. My mom used to tell me that a no mask even has the power to turn an ordinary human being into a phantom. A phantom? It would seem that a new suspect has emerged. And that means that all suspicion against Miss Cykes has... You see? This is precisely why I can't trust the court system. Athena Cykes is the murderer. I won't accept any other verdict. Miss Blackquill, this is not good. A new suspect? Where's the proof that this person ever existed? Who says it wasn't all just a dream in the little princess's groggy little head? She's right. We don't have any hard evidence of the masked man's existence. But isn't there any DNA within that mask? Thank you, Mr. Wright. I'll never be able to repay you for all you've done. But I'm fine now, because I can say with certainty that I didn't kill my mother. Athena, I'm so glad for you. More and more memories are coming back now. So I'd like to say one thing if I could. Ponko came to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. to recharge. I went to the robotics lab at 2 p.m. For my regular charge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis, and then Mommy Metis fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything. I see where you're going with this. If Mommy Metis was really the killer in disguise, right? Then he must have come to the robotics lab before 2 p.m. Do I have anything in the evidence that can help me find this person who came to the lab before 2 p.m.? Well, the only thing I can think of. Let's hope I'm right. Let's see, where is it? Welp, this is all I can think of right now. The video footage is the only thing I can think of. Wait a minute. Oh, never mind. Video showing the corridor to the crime scene. Blackquill was the only one to pass through at the time of the crime scene. But it doesn't show the actual time. I'm going on a limb on here, but here we go. This is Prosecutor Blackquill leaving the scene after the incident at around 3 p.m. What I'm wondering is, does the video show anyone else passing by there before then? I don't see anything in the investigation report. It looks like they didn't check. Just as I thought. So, if we rewind the footage and go back to around 2 p.m., we should be able to see the true culprit leaving the scene. Very well then. Let's take a look. There! Please stop it right there. It's just like you said. There's a man leaving the scene of the crime. Miss Cykes, do you remember this person? That's him. I'm sure of it. He was wearing my mother's jacket. I did, but what I really wanted to see was her jacket. That jacket on display. That was Dr. Cykes. Can you see it? That slash I made with the knife that day, and I'm sure that knife is under that jacket somewhere. So then, everything Miss Cykes said, exactly. It proves that Miss Cykes' memory was correct. Dr. Cykes' killer arrived at the robotics lab before 2 p.m. He killed her and hit her face with a handkerchief. Then he disguised himself with Dr. Cykes' jacket and mask that were there in the lab. The culprit probably knew beforehand that Panko charged up at 2 p.m. every day. So he waited for Panko to come to the lab for her regular charge. By leaving the Dr. Cykes' jacket on, the culprit tricked Panko into thinking he was Dr. Cykes, thereby making it look like she was alive up to that point in time. All to disguise the real time of death.
Objection.
Now what, Edgeworth? It's a nice theory, Mr. Wright, but I'm afraid that it's just not possible. What? Why not? The victim's jacket is clearly visible there right in this video. And that right there is precisely the problem. The ID tag on the jacket at the scene confirms beyond a doubt that it belonged to the victim. If the person who left the lab truly was wearing the victim's jacket, then how could it possibly have wound up back at the scene of the crime? Well, at the crime scene. What's going on? That doesn't make sense. Edgeworth's right. If the culprit was wearing the The jacket, how did it get back to the lab? The only thing I can think of is that the killer brought it back. Let's try that. The killer used the jacket as a disguise to make his escape. But in order to conceal that fact, he had to get the jacket back at the crime scene. So the culprit simply returned to the robotics lab later and planted there. Contradictions resolved.
Objection.
Except that it would have been impossible. The only people who came into to the robotics lab after the killer were Prosecutor Blackquill and the people who reported the body. And they claimed that the jacket was there when they arrived. So, when do you propose this mysterious man of yours had the chance to return the jacket? A puzzling question indeed. When did the culprit have a chance to bring that jacket back? You don't think when the body was found, huh? Let's see. Oh. Music has stopped. Meaning, I think I got the right answer. The only time the culprit could have returned the jacket was when the body was found. Mr. Wright, do you realize the implication of that argument? I do. Most people, when they come across a murder, focus their attention on the body. The culprit could have taken advantage of that split second to plant the jacket. In other words, the true culprit of this case, the man known as the Phantom, was one of the first people to discover the body. I would never have thought of that. Order! Order in the court! What is the meaning of this, Prosecutor Edgeworth? The body was discovered and reported by a group of 3 people. They were to collect the space probe's capsule in preparation for the Hat 1, you know, the Hat 1... What was it called again? Launch. One of those people had a special bag to transport the capsule in. Oh, you mean the shock-resistant bag? Correct. I suppose that if the jacket was in that bag, it could have been returned to the scene of the crime without anyone noticing. I'll see to it that you get the reports on those 3 people. You will? We should also check the facial recognition's the database of that robot. If this person felt the need to hide his face with the theater mask, it might mean that his facial data was once registered. But Prosecutor Edgeworth, does this mean... I have to admit, I believe Miss Cykes' memories to be credible. You win, right? Not that this was ever an official trial anyway. Do my ears deceive me? Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you actually conceding? Is it true, boss? Does this mean I can't believe it. It's over. I won. I proved that Athena and Prosecutor Blackquill are innocent. Your Honor, I see no need to further prolong this trial. Hold on, Mr. Wright. Have you forgotten who's in charge of this trial? That's right. I'm the one who's supposed to say, I see no need to further prolong. Not you, Judge. Not you either, Your Honor. Now silence! The little princess was truly beloved by Metis, and who repaid that love with death. All these years, hating Athena was the only thing that's kept me going. But what do I do now? Can anybody tell me? How am I supposed to go on? Miss Blackquill. How unlike you, Aura. Metis was deeply passionate about her work, and she chose you as her partner. Isn't that... Shut up, Simon! You know exactly how I felt about her. Her respect as a co-worker wasn't all that I wanted. Then what did you want from her? Did you really just go there, Your Honor? Aura, there is something I've wanted to say if you lend me an ear. I have in my possession a lead on who Metis' murderer is. You do? Right, Dono. You asked me about the identity of the Phantom of 7 years past. That's right. The Phantom. The person Blackquill has been looking for, even from behind bars. 7 years ago, somebody hatched a plan to sabotage the Hat 1 rocket. The spy. But he was no ordinary spy. We knew naught about him. His background, appearance. We came to refer to him as the Phantom. At the time, I was working with the police to hunt him down. And then one day, a miracle occurred, and I obtained a lead on him. Oh, how exciting! What was this lead? A recording of the Phantom's voice, but the quality was too poor for proper voice analysis. Yet I had hope. Aura's co-worker was a scientist who could analyze human emotions. So I asked her to evaluate the recording using analytical psychology. And that scientist was Dr. Cykes. Yes, a spy's greatest fear is to have his true identity discovered. In addition to Hat 1, Dr. Cykes' results and the recording were surely among his targets, but his search of the space sensor bore no fruit. So he must have started to panic. He couldn't find them, but where could they have been? Who is to say? Wow, I bet he's never let that out of his sight all these years. How in the world did you smuggle them into prison? Oh, I have my ways. What's more, my partner is especially talented at that sort of thing. Who else but Taka? I worked to lure the Phantom in by spreading rumors throughout the underworld. I was even granted permission to prosecute cases to attract the Phantom's attention. Just try to retrieve your identity, you bloody butcher. Became my taunt. And what about the results Dr. Sky drew up for you? Was there any useful information? Here, you can see for yourself. But take good care of it. It's all I have left of my mentor. I will. I better hold on to this real tight. Alright, so we get our next piece of evidence, the Phantom's psych profile. The subject's emotions rarely fluctuate, and he doesn't experience feelings like normal people do. Wow, this is going to be a pain. A very big pain. Psychological profile. Classified. Emotional output of this voice extremely weak compared to typical voices. Subject deemed to have a unique psychological makeup with almost no emotional fluctuation. No emotional fluctuation, huh? A spy who experiences no emotion, no sadness, nor anger, and naturally no fear. Here's the very definition of a phantom. A monster with no heart. Don't you see? This creature is the rot that destroyed our lives and set what eyeless us all into motion. The Phantom indeed, a fitting name for the one who has brought darkness to our world. Well then, it seems a faint image of this man has started to take shape. Based on what we've learned, I'd like all of you to conduct further investigation. This is not a formal trial, but I do want to follow protocol. If I may, I'd like to hand down my verdicts and bring these proceedings to an end. Whatever. Do what you want. You'll hear no objections from me. Yes, please, Your Honor. It's over. It's finally over. Very well. In that case, Prosecutor Blackquill, could you please take the stand? He's been there the whole time, hasn't he? As a result of this trial, your innocence has been proven. The verdict handed down 7 years ago is hereby overturned. And now, the defendant of the current trial, Miss Athena Cykes. Yes, Your Honor? Mr. Wright, thank you. Thank you for everything. Athena, you're more than welcome. If everyone is ready, I will now give my verdict. Now what? You! Apollo? Apollo? What is the meaning of this? Congratulations, Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Edgeworth. You've uncovered the truth from 7 years ago, and you saved Prosecutor Blackquill. However, I can't allow you to end the trial. I can't allow this trial to end just yet. Why, Apollo? Why, Apollo? Why would you do this? Oh, wow. This is getting more and more exciting, more thrilling. Alright, I'm gonna take a little break, because, wow, this has been long. Alright, so I'll be right back. So, cut! Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and share with all your family and friends. If you're enjoying my content, consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to click that bell to receive notifications for new videos. Take care, and God bless.